Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Abroad now to Mosul, the beleaguered city in northern Iraq that's been under the control of Islamic State militants for 3 years. Iraqi commanders say victory over the 300 IS fighters remaining in the city is just days away. But civilians have borne the brunt of the fighting, with medical charities saying the population, including thousands of children, has been traumatized by the brutal and horrific conflict. A seemingly unlikely band of foreign men, led by an American Christian missionary, is fighting against IS and helping rescue some of those civilians. Our correspondent Jonathan Miller reports now on one of their daring rescues, and a warning, his report does contain very graphic images.
In a city broken by a long and terrible battle, a heartbeat from an IS sniper's bullet or a bomb, a group of foreigners, Christian humanitarians, works to rescue those held by IS as human shields. Mosul, not quite as godforsaken as it looks. You'd be forgiven for thinking these men crazy.
We're not crazy. We're doing this for love. We don't want to die. We're listening to God and each other. We're doing the best we can do.
Iraqi troops in front have captured 2 suspected Islamic State militants. Eubank knows the Iraqi soldiers and coordinates with them, although they work independently. He used to serve with US Special Forces, but he's here with members of the group he founded, the Free Burma Rangers, more used to assisting ethnic minorities in Myanmar's civil war. Here, they're up against IS.
I've never seen an enemy like that. Burma Army's not that vicious. That I don't hate them, because they're human beings. They can change. Pray to God that their hearts would change. Those that do not, don't hesitate. Go and capture them, or if necessary, you might have to kill them.
They approach the front line. IS snipers are holed up in a nearby deserted hospital. They've massacred Mosul's residents as they fled.
Okay, there's like 3 dead civilians right here.
Eubank's Rangers are armed with the consent of the Iraqi government. Bankrolled by Christian churches, he's a self-appointed commander in God's army. Their mission? Rescue those escaping the die-hard jihadi killers of the self-appointed caliphate. Omar, a Mosul civilian, has just crossed no man's land. He says his wounded mother is trapped on the other side. There are loads of people over there, he says. Everyone who tried to cross ahead of me is dead. Remarkably, Omar heads back, alone, to save his mother. There is love among these ruins.
Anyways, it's the 3rd building. If you're in the hospital looking west, it's the 3rd building.
Eubank contacts the US military and requests a smoke bomb screen. Omar appears with his injured mother. Under the cover of the smoke, Iraqi soldiers rush in to rescue more wounded and exhausted people. They all made it.
Hello, I'm Karen Eubank.
I'm Dave Eubank, Free Burma.
Eubank, son of Christian missionaries himself, brought his whole family to Mosul.
I'm Suzanne, I'm 14 years old. Hello, my name is Peter and I'm 11 years old.
They're living on the front line. One Iraqi army commander thought them nuts, but lent them a family Humvee. It's a life that would put the fear of God into British social services. This is the hospital from which IS are firing. From their vantage 300 yards away, Eubank spots a group of civilians in the shadow of a wall. They're not all dead. There's at least one injured man and several children who are crawling around, lost among the bodies. After coordinating with US and Iraqi forces, the Burma Rangers pause for prayer.
Lord Jesus, help us not to go too little or too far.
Using an Iraqi tank as cover, a Burmese Ranger cameraman, an Iraqi interpreter and 2 American volunteers rush in to where angels would definitely fear to tread. By the time they get there, 3 of the 4 children have scattered, probably in terror. One little girl appears from under her dead mother's robes. As Eubank races towards her, fellow Rangers cover him, firing at IS positions. Seconds later, they cross Sniper Alley again for the 2 men. They only manage to rescue one of them. With the smoke cover disappearing fast, an IS sniper hits one of the Americans. The rescue team retreats under a hail of bullets. Miraculously, the girl was unharmed, but she was in shock and silent, and we still do not know her name. The man survived. The next day, a bid to rescue the other man failed. He died out in the killing field. Another Burma Ranger was wounded. The Rangers have been in Iraq for a year, saving lives, living on a wing and a prayer.
Now I'm joined by David Eubank, who you saw in that film. David, we've just seen the extraordinary risks you've taken in your bid to try and help people. Some would see it as irresponsible to take your whole family, including children, out to Mosul, though. What would you say to those people?
Well, I would say pray first about what to do, and the people in Mosul count. We only go with my family where other families are, and so in the very front where there's fighting, there's me and my team, and behind, where it's a little bit safer, is my family. And my family there is there to greet, give water, and sometimes help medically to people who are fleeing. So if there's a family there, we try to be there because we think everybody counts.
And there are some terrible things going on in Mosul. What's the very worst thing you've seen?
I think you were just looking at it, and as I was listening to your program, it hit my heart. The guy coming, talking about they're slaughtering people in the streets. His own daughter was killed. 2 daughters were killed. I actually came across their bodies the way he described them. I think that's the worst I saw, was little children being killed. I had a mother of a newborn die in my arms before this event, and we tried to save her, we couldn't. And the baby didn't know anything, and the newlywed husband's crying, and she's dead. And this happened again and again. And so I think there were many, many terrible things that I saw. But in the midst of it, I saw Iraqis being brave and helping each other. I was so impressed with the Iraqi army, who are mostly Shia, helping Sunni people, sometimes risking their lives. And having the Sunni families run up to us crying, saying, thank you for saving us, thank you for being with us. So we see evil things, but we saw good things too.
There have been accusations made against the Iraqi army of carrying out atrocities against IS fighters and indeed civilians. Did you see any evidence of that?
No, ma'am, I never saw it. You know, we've been working in Iraq for 3 years, mostly in Kurdistan, and this last year we've been in Mosul, and I've been on almost every major battle from East Mosul, Northeast Mosul, around the Tigris, across it, and up in the northwest Mosul, and into Mosul itself. I heard about those things. I never saw them anywhere. And so I'm sure there have been some incidences, but mostly I saw mercy and care. And I asked the Iraqis themselves, why are you so merciful to these Sunni families, some of whom are definitely ISIS? And they said, 1, Allah tells us to be merciful. 2, if we don't take care of these families now, we will fight forever.
And what motivates you? Are you seeking to convert Iraqis to Christianity?
Well, I'm probably not a very good Christian. I'm a follower of Jesus. He saved me, helps me. And what motivates me is love. I look at like that kid that we needed to help. That could be my kid.
And we can't do everything in the world, none of us can, but we can do our best to what's in front of us. And so for me, I'm motivated by faith in God. This is our place. I'm motivated by love for other people. I'm motivated by intellect. Oppression's wrong. And then as an ex-soldier, this is something I can do to help.
David Eubank, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, and God bless you in England.